Yeah, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. Yeah, I love the mask you made. Thank you. All right, love you too. Okay. Copyright infringement. Hey, DJ Laptop. You want to make some beats together? Oh. Yes. Yes. Say what? Made up my own song so that I won't get sued. I can't believe you're watching. There must not be much to do.
Nope.
Man, welcome to the stage, though I'm really glad you're here.
Welcome.
The name is Scott Thomas, and it's about to get weird.
Yes.
Time to mix that drink.
A drink.
And come down from the brink.
The brink.
And watch a funny dog or two and realize what's at stake.
At stake.
Man, this the Mr. Link.
The link.
It's time to mix that drink. Because these words so icy, they be like a skating rink.
Say
yes. Mix that drink. Mix that drink.
The drink.
Time.
It's time to mix it.
Mix that drink.
Yes.
Mix that drink. Tonight on the stage, we got one hell of a show. International Wagnerian soprano. Leah's gonna show us why she's hired up in Europe.
Maybe now's the time to find and drink up all your cough syrup.
Yes.
Ooh, Norway's Turandot.
It's hot.
She's so good, she's gonna make you lose your train of thought.
Your what?
Yes, Norway's Turandot.
Oh.
Norway's Turandot. She's so sick, it's gonna make you lose your train of thought.
Oh, second up the man, the legend, the beast on keys, his name is Tedrin. Oh, second up the man, the legend, the beast on keys, his name is Tedrin. Second up we got Big Tedrino, playing a sick piano. Yes, got Big Tedrino, playing sick piano. Welcome to the stage, man. I'm really glad you came.
Welcome.
Funny dogs and interviews will always be my game. Man, welcome to the stage, man. I'm really glad you came. Funny dogs and interviews will always be my game. Welcome to the stage, man. I'm really glad you came.
Welcome.
Funny dogs and helping people always be my game. Saying welcome to the stage, man. I'm really glad you came.
Welcome.
Funny dogs and interviews will always be my game.
My game.
Yes.
All right, first up today, we have Leah Shank-Crowne, dramatic soprano, and she is fresh from Bergen, Norway, singing Ternendot, and was kind enough to stop by and let us know how things are going. Well, welcome.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And how are you doing? I know that you have new addition to the family and inside a lot now. So how are you and the family staying sane?
Well, we've been really lucky. We live out in the country in Pennsylvania. We have a lot of space outside and
Nice.
big long driveway so the kids can ride their little bikes, and it's not been too bad for us. They miss their friends, but Scott and I, my husband's name is Scott too. Scotty.
The Scots. I
and-
trust them already.
Yeah. So anyway, he dresses up in tutus and plays with, because we have two girls,
Oh,
and he does the whole awesome dad thing. So,
That's pretty great.
It hasn't been too bad.
power to them.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that your clan is doing well and that everybody's happy and Dad has time to play with the girls. And so I know that we introduced as a dramatic soprano, and maybe you could go into a little bit what that means.
Yeah. So a dramatic soprano's voice is a little bit louder, has a little bit more like metal to it, is what they say, so that you can be heard over orchestras that are really large. And you have to be born a certain way to be a certain soprano. It's kind of like you're born with your voice. That's who you are. You can't really change your voice. I mean, you can do things with it, but you're born with your voice. And my voice has always been really loud. Ask my mother. Ask my husband. So we have the big rib cage for resonance and for breath. We have to have really expansive breaths for really long phrasing, because all of our music is just endless phrases. And then we also play characters that are a little bit larger than life. I mean, we don't really play the cutesy soubrette characters. Those are really fun, but we play more the warriors, the evil women, the big, larger than life characters. And so you have to have a voice that reflects that. So that's kind of the dramatic soprano in a nutshell.
Yeah, when everything's clashing really super loud and 100 instruments at once, you need to hear that one note over all of it.
Yeah.
You know who.
Or there's a big, ensemble of people, and you're singing with a 80-piece orchestra, and then on top of that, 100-voice chorus, and you still have to be heard over all of that. Yeah.
That's amazing. And I mean, so you were talking about a little bit earlier. We mentioned that you had come from Bergen, Norway, where you had done your international debut as Turandot, and which, by the way, congrats.
Thank you.
the bow.
Yeah.
And maybe you could tell us a little bit about how it was. Maybe some tidbits, some fun facts.
The conductor was super, super supportive. She really reassured me, and she said, I'm on your team. I want you to do well. The director was amazing. I mean, he was so incredible because he really made me feel totally at ease. He calmed me. He didn't even know I was struggling because I was hiding it, but he really made me feel at ease, and I was able to perform my absolute best. And I got a standing ovation at the end of the night. And
all right.
Yeah. And then the next day I got a really good review. I saw it in the paper, and the rest of the shows went equally as well. And I left feeling really accomplished. I left feeling like I had done what I had come there to do. So it was really good. In the end, it was actually a really good experience. And I am really proud to say that my operatic debut was in Bergen, Norway, because I love all those people there. It's a lovely community.
I hear that we're lucky enough that maybe it would be okay for you to perform a little today.
Yeah, we would love to. My husband's actually going to accompany me on the piano, so that'll be
that's great.
Cool. Yeah, he's Scott also. So
Scott's. And so the piece that you've chosen, if you don't mind explaining a little bit about what's going on and who you are.
Sure. It's from the opera Cavalleria Rusticana, and my character is Santuzza. Yep. I'm a peasant, and my ex-boyfriend has run off with his ex and left me impure. And so I am begging his mother for help.
Oh, that always goes well.
Right.
All right. So we have Leah Shank-Crowne with Voi lo sapete from Cavalleria Rusticana.
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing. Oh man, I'm sure they heard that all the way all over Pennsylvania. That can definitely be heard over an orchestra. Incredible. Thank you so much for performing that for us today. And I mean, is there anything else you'd like to say before you leave?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my studio group of amazing professional singers, Crowne Voice Studio. If you are a young professional singer or not so young or young at heart and you're looking for someone to work with over Zoom in these awful days and then later in person if you want, check me out here at my Facebook page, Crowne Voice Studio on Facebook. It's
Okay.
Crowne with an E.
So
Crowne.
we'll have the link down below, and if you just want in Facebook, it's Crowne Voice Studio. Boom.
Okay.
Feel free to go on down. All right. Well, thank you so much for visiting us today and for gifting us with your voice. And say thank you to your husband and to your kiddos. Until next time.
Thank you.
Way to give back? I'll give you a couple ways. Number 1. All right, number 2. And here's a bonus one for you. Today, I have a new segment called By the Fire. I thought we could just talk. So, I've been thinking a lot about my mom and dad and growing up and some of the funny stuff that happened. And I've taught kids piano lessons for years, so I know that it's adorable, but you kind of have to keep things interesting, you know? And so the way that my dad did was pranks. He loved pranks. And my dad was a character, Dr. Herman Thomas. And if you're thinking, man, Scott, you're that guy's clone, you would be wrong, because he was really good at math. Not me. So he loved comedies, SNL, Richard Pryor was his favorite. I mean, I heard 1,000 times that one about the priest, and he's like, when I was walking down, I heard the voice of God down that alley, but did I go down? No, because I did not know if that was the voice of God or some man with a pipe about to beat my... So, anyway, he pranked me and my sisters all the time. And it wasn't like, oh, I gotcha. That cookie was kind of gross. No. It was like, he knew some German, and so he taught my sisters growing up for years until they found out that Gesteppen wasn't German, and to Wochen Sie was at best kind of right. And so with me, he would get out a quarter and he would hold it up and say, you see the moon up there? You hold it up to your eye. It's about the same size. And I mean, he was a scientist, so young me was like, yeah, okay, cool, that sounds right. And it took me years to figure out that I had been pranked. My dad and I are at the grocery store, and I asked him, what's LB mean on all these tags? What's that mean? And he said, why, Scott, that means libets. That is Latin for pounds. And so he's a scientist, and all their classifications are in Latin, and adds up for 5 or 6-year-old me. And so one time I'm in class, and I'm trying to impress some girl at university, and I'm talking about, oh, well, let me tell you, Latin is everywhere. If you even go down to the grocery store, you'll see it says LB. That's Latin for libets. And when the laughing died down, I realized, oh man, like he got me again. Years later, I had no idea. And also, I did not impress that girl. But It was great. And if any of you have any stories of parents having fun, maybe having fun, you're the parents, just write down there. There's a hashtag. Just type out your story. I'd love to put it on the show next time. Thank you so much, Mom and Dad. I love you. And Tedran. So welcome.
Thank you. Hi, Scott. How are you? Great to
I'm
see
doing
you
really well.
virtually.
Yeah, and it's great to see you too. I love the room. I love the piano. It's good to
Thank
see
you.
you
Yes,
again.
welcome to my music room here. I'll
Oh, that's awesome.
beast some keys a little bit later for you.
Yes. I mean, yeah, wow. And so people who might not know, Dr. Tedrin Blair Lindsay is a very, very gifted pianist. And so we're going to get a little lucky here some tonight. But right now, I'm just wondering, how are things going out there? What are you doing? Keeping busy? How's it going? How's it feeling?
Well, I'm very blessed to be someone who's a performing artist, but I have a stable job at the University of Kentucky, where I'm a faculty vocal coach and musical director. What that means is that I work with opera students on both their opera productions and on learning how to interpret songs, especially working with them on the different languages that they have to sing in. If you think of a voice teacher as being 75% responsible for technique and 25% responsible for music, a vocal coach is the other part of that team, 75% responsible for music, musicality, drama, interpretation of the poetry, all the other stuff that's not vocal technique.
So, you've been around, around the world and different organizations and all kinds of houses, opera houses and people's houses. And so I was wondering, maybe there's something a little salacious, maybe something without mentioning any names, of course.
Oh,
no snitching.
Well, no, I gotcha. Well, yeah, I wish I could tell a real, actual story because there are so many great ones I could tell. But without naming names, let me just say that I have met a lot of fantastic men all over the world because of my Grinder app. And in France, they call it Grande. But just so
Nice.
you know. But I live in Lexington, but I do use it as a way to meet fellas out and about throughout the world, some of whom I am still actually in touch with, which is kind of fun. So is that salacious enough for you?
That's pretty salacious.
There was
I love
the
it.
time that a dear friend of mine who was my roommate at the time on tour told our very conservative tour leader what Grinder was and why I wasn't at the little gathering where they were together. Threw me right under the bus, but
The happy birthday variations. So there's beauty, and you're saying how you're trying to find beauty, and you're following the direction of that. And so in the happy birthday variations, you would say, how do I make this more beautiful? Or what would I do?
okay,
Like,
I
how would
gotcha.
you-
Well, what I'm thinking about in the happy birthday variations is that because each variation represents a recognizable style of music. They therefore call for a different touch and a different sound. I'm trying to find what's iconic about that style. So in Mozart, it's going to sound very light and crystal-like with a lot of scales and runny texture, but not thick, light and buoyant. And then in Rachmaninoff, it's almost the opposite of that. It's very thick and passionate and robust.
Yeah, the Russians.
And
the
then,
Russian piano.
And then you'll hear the color change for the Strauss variation, where you've got to be able to dance to it. So it sounds more maybe even like an oom-pa-pa band. But then when it changes to ragtime, for the first time, it sounds actually like maybe more a true, just plain old piano color, because ragtime was a style that was played on piano. But
so
then,
you would say maybe an accurate musical idea of what would be beautiful in that exact scene or moment.
fulfilling the expression of what the moment is supposed to be is beautiful, because you can have a really harsh and dissonant note, but in the context, if that is meaningful and it's expressing something harsh and dissonant, then anything that's not that wouldn't be beautiful. So
do you remember Wozzeck at the end when that poor little boy is on his little horse and it's got that dissonant part, and they're like, "Hey, little boy." Yeah, like, and he's like, yeah, and you're just like, oh God, but it's beautiful
well,
music,
is a great example of people finding beauty in something that to the ear at first can be very harsh and dissonant and disorienting. But once you understand how that music is expressing the turgid, dramatic story of this poor, oppressed man and the people in his life, then you understand the beauty of Berg's composition in being able to fulfill this dramatic story so perfectly in music. Scott and I were talking about what piece I should play. And especially in the time of Aries and Taurus, all of you people want to celebrate your birthdays big time. And God help us if we're not out of this quarantine by the time of Leo in August. World's going to go crazy because Leos want to celebrate them on their birthdays. And so anyway, there are a lot of birthdays that go by in a year. Everybody has one. And so whoever is having a birthday, whenever you're watching this, pretend it's your birthday. Because I'm going to play my variations on Happy Birthday. And I do have this in an orchestrated rendition. I believe it's on YouTube, along with various others of my pieces that you can link from my website. Tedran.com, once again. Anyway, let me talk about the Happy Birthday variations. So it starts off with the grandiose statement of the theme, and then there are 9 variations in different styles, and 9 just because it happens to be my favorite number. So the first 3 are different classical composers. The first variation is in the style of Mozart. The second variation is in the style of Rachmaninoff. The third variation is in the style of Johann Strauss Jr., the Waltz King. Then we go decidedly more lowbrow. The fourth variation is in the style of ragtime. Then you'll hear Happy Birthday as a tango, then as a boogie-woogie, then in honky-tonk, then as a cha-cha, in which you've got to clap on the rests. And then finally, we'll get down and dirty with a burlesque variation. So, happy birthday, everyone, whether you're in quarantine or whether we're out by the time you hear this.
Today!
Yes, happy birthday! It's birthday! Woo!
Wait, and I have something for everybody. A little something. later on.
Yeah. Yes.
Later on, maybe we'll sing a little bit.
Woo.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for stopping by and gracing with all that beautiful piano. And
Oh, my pleasure.
we got-
Again, happy birthday, everybody.
And we
I
were
love
able
you,
to
Scott,
happy
buddy.
birthday,
You're
everybody.
wonderful. Yay.
Thank you so much. It was great talking. See you
Much.
soon.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. And to all the mothers out there, Happy Mother's Day! You're all beautiful. And don't forget, the Central Park Music t-shirts are a great Mother's Day present. Or if you want to get them for the whole family, be some ballers on Instagram, they come in adult and kid sizes. So thank you so much again. Happy Mother's Day. Till next time.
Welcome to the stage, though I'm really glad you're here.
Welcome.
The name is Scott Thomas, and it's about to get weird.
Yes.
Time to mix that drink,
A drink.
and come down from the brink,
The brink.
and watch a funny dog or two and realize what's at stake.
At stake.
Man, this the Mr. Link.
The link.
It's time to mix that drink, because these words so icy, they be like a skating rink.
Say
Yes. Mix that drink. Mix that drink.
Drink. Time. It's time to mix it.
Mix that drink.
Yes.
Mix that drink. Welcome to the stage, man. I'm really glad you came.
Welcome.
Funny dogs and interviews will always be my game.
My game.
Man, welcome to the stage, man. I'm really glad you came.
You can.
Funny dogs and interviews will always be my game.
My game.
Welcome to the stage, man. I'm really glad you came.
Welcome.
Funny dogs and helping people always be my game. Saying welcome to the stage, man. I'm really glad you came.
Welcome.
Funny dogs and interviews will always be my game.
My game.
Yes.